You're listening to Ignite Your Success, a podcast that inspires fitness professionals to build a strong business that enables them to serve more people and engineer the lifestyle they desire. It's Brad Shepherd here, and together with Jason Ubanowicz, we're best known for running Trainer HQ, a community of passionate and profit-hungry fitness business owners that make a massive difference in others' lives every day. Each episode will unpack for you exactly what's working and deliver best practice strategies so you can confidently grow your business and make a huge impact. Hello everybody, and welcome to another edition of Ignite Your Ultimate Success podcast. I'm joined by the Trainer HQ two-time Master Coach of the Year award winner, Mr. Ben Dulhunty. How are you, brother?
I'm good, mate. Thank you for having me today.
Mate, brilliant to have you along now. That's not your only accolade and your only achievement in life. We got a lot to unpack inside today's podcast, and really what I want to do is I want to learn about your story. I want to learn about what got you into the fitness industry, because you're an old dog now, mate.
I am.
So I want to hear the BD story right from the start. So unpack it for me, mate. Tell me what prompted you to enter the fitness industry, and what was the turning point for you back in the day?
Okay, thanks, mate. Look, for me personally, I was always into sport. All right, love sport. Played a lot of sport as a kid. A bit of rep footy. Every afternoon I was out, outside. I was never an indoors kid, so just loved that. Left school, went straight into uni. And studied exercise science, and mate, was working in two of the biggest gyms in Sydney during that time too. So I got the runs on the board, got a bit of experience as well as the theory with uni. And mate, came out of that, and while I was at uni, I was planning to start my own studio. So went down that path, and came out with the experience of working in gyms. Wanted to start my own studio, and away I went.
So what year did you actually kick off inside the gyms?
So I kicked off in 1999. So yes, I am an old fella. Been in the industry for 25 years.
And how old were you then when you studying uni, all that sort of stuff, working at the gyms?
Yeah, I was 19. I started fitness industry at 19 years old.
Yep.
Yeah.
Wide-eyed, bright-eyed and excited. And back then there was the thing called a gym instructor, wasn't there? So is that what you did?
Yeah, I was, mate. I was the gym instructor, but we were walking the gym floor, helping people with their programs. I wasn't the Lycra gym instructor, not that one, not the aerobics instructor, just for the record.
Well, a lot of the modern day trainers wouldn't have known what a gym instructor was. So back in the day, it was, you went to a gym, the PT didn't really exist, 25, 30 years ago. There was a bit around, of course, but not a huge amount. Yeah. And what would happen is you get written a program by somebody that worked for the gym. They'd walk you around, they'd show you the program, they'd update it, do all that sort of stuff, hey?
Correct, yeah. It was a whole new world, mate. Back then it was very different. And like you said, I was one of those gym instructors that walked around, wrote programs for people, and I wasn't even allowed at that stage to be a personal trainer. They didn't look at me when I was 19, unfortunately. Fascinating
story too, because I guess the kind of the death of the gym instructor was the birth of the personal trainer, right?
Yeah. It was a transition, and it was great, for those opportunities to come around. I think it was Cert 4 they taught. Which was the PT, but the Cert 3 was the gym instructor, and that's where it went.
Now you had the vision to start your own studio early, and you would have been in the early days of people doing that. So what was the vision, and what were you thinking at the time?
Yeah, well, I was fortunate enough to work with some really cool people when I was working in that gym space. Gavin Aquilina, he ran a PT studio in North Sydney, and I did a bit of work with him. And I got a feel for it and just understood how it all worked. So I was inspired by that and by him. And I just thought, look, I can do this. Why not? Let's just have a crack and go for it. And so I was working in gyms for about 2 or 3 years before I went to the studio space.
And the studio that you're in now, is that your first studio? Is that the place where you started?
Yeah, the one and only. So I started that in 2004, graduated uni 2001, started my own business 2002. As personal training out in parks and stuff, and then started the studio 2004. Yeah.
Which brings you to a big milestone coming up next year, brother. Tell us about it.
Yeah, so we're 20 years there in the one spot, mate. It's amazing. You know, it's one of those things that not a lot of facilities can say that they've done. They've done that amount of time and done it successfully, in my opinion. You know, we've done really, really well over that period, and it has been a great journey.
And can you explain to everybody the nature of the business? So what does it physically look like? I know some of the answers, but I'd love you to unpack a bit about what led you to find this spot and the uniqueness about it and the culture around it.
Yeah, well, excuse me. Funnily enough, I was looking for a bigger space at the time. I could really tell you the long version. I'll tell you the short version though. I was approached to start this studio, to take it over. A lovely lady who was retiring ran a couple of rowers out of this sporting club, you know, rowing machines and treadmills and things. And she said, hey, you know, I heard you're looking for a space. I said, yeah, I am. And she said, come and let's have a chat. And one thing led to another, and I bought her out for a nominal fee. I think it was about 20 grand back in the day. And I transformed that thing into a local fitness studio within a sporting club, you know, with the bowling greens out the back and the restaurant attached, and, you know, that old school bowling club.
Fantastic. And that still operates today, the Bowls Club, right?
It does, yeah. Not in a competitive sense. You know, they've totally transformed that thing. It's upgraded. It's an amazing facility that has 4,000 members now at that club itself. It's a great community attraction. We get all local families there, which is a great marketing piece for us.
Beers on tap too.
Oh yeah, without a doubt.
So tell us about the makeup. Like, what size? How big is your facility?
Okay, so my space is I've got a space which is our personal training space, which is only 70 square meters, so it's quite small. And then we've got another training space for our group space, which is probably about another 70 or 80 square meters, and then we can do the outdoor with the bowling green out the back, which is probably about 160 square meters of flat green outdoor space.
And did you have access to that all the time, or did it just start with one spot? Did you expand? How did that all play out?
Yeah, so I started with the little spot with the 70 square meters of PT space, took over then the hall space and rented that out full time, and then we always had the outdoor space, which was great.
It's 20 years at the facility. Obviously, you've got a great working relationship there. And it's one of the things, you know, we when we get into talking a bit about how we can help other trainers, which is one of your specialities, is look for the opportunity. So I guess what I see out there is a lot of people going, okay, I want to open a facility, and I think immediately commercial space. And that might be the best and most viable option in some instances, depending upon what you're looking to do. However, I guess what you found is you went and found who has the existing space, where is the opportunity, who has a database. Can you unpack some of that for us?
Yeah, so look, what I do with what I encourage my clients to do, my coaching clients now, is to look outside the box. You know, don't, like you just said, Brad, you know, you don't look at just, you know, the traditional way of which people are doing things. You know, you can really make a lot of money and have a lot of success by just shifting a little bit and finding those opportunities. And we've got a great working relationship now with the general manager of the club. He's one of our clients. All the board members train with us as well. You know, the local community, like I said, we're well renowned in our local community. We're the one-stop place, you know, that people come to train with us, and we've got a fantastic reputation. So I like to say all the time is, you know, stay small and take it all. You know, you don't need to go big. You don't need to go large. You know, just consolidate and just ride the wave once you create it.
Yeah, and I'm sure that, like, someone might hear that you start on 70 square meters, and like you said, it's not a huge space. But then again, how much space do you need, and what do you need for it to be profitable and to tick all these boxes? Yeah,
correct. And what I've done with myself, of course, and then passed on to my clients, is said, you know, look, what you've really got to do. I'm a numbers man, right? And I like systems, you know that, and so I work out how much my clients are paying me per square meter of space that I have, and I break it down to that. So I know how many people I can fit in a certain space, how much money I can make from an individual client, and project it from there.
Fantastic. Love you sharing these insights, and there'll be plenty more. So let's go back to the early days. So obviously it was just yourself. So can you tell us a bit about the first stage, the first maybe few years? What challenges did you come up against? What struggles did you have? Can you share some of those with us?
Yeah, mate. Well, look, I was 23, 24 years old, starting that studio. I was about to get married. We just bought a unit excuse me, some property as well, and I had no money. I had nothing. So I was running on a smell of an oily rag, and I was doing 15 hours each day at that studio. I was sleeping there overnight. I was just busting myself. I was broken. So I guess my message is, you don't have to have a lot of cash to start off. You can really improvise, work your ass off, leverage yourself. I borrowed money, paid it all back within a year as well off one of my clients. He just said, look, I'll give you some cash to deck out the studio, and you just train me for free, but pay me back within a year. And so I did. That was it. That was my mission, and I got it done.
That's cool, man. That there again, look for the opportunities, get resourceful. And again, it's they're out there. PT clients, you think most people have a deck of PT clients, or they got these people who do have disposable income and who probably want to share your vision as well. So it's a cool way of looking at it.
Yep, 100%.
So what other struggles did you say? So incredibly busy, 15-hour days, all that sort of stuff. How long did that go for? We talking years? How long before you started to see the light?
Yeah, before I came up for air, it was probably, I'd say the first year was that sort of situation. Excuse me. And then I brought on a staff member after, I reckon it was the first year. Within the first year, I had my first staff member, just a casual young guy, just doing some odd jobs, filling in some hours here and there. And then I brought on my big hitters, my personal trainers, in the following years after that. So, and that's when we started to really get some momentum.
So within your first 2 to 3 years was when you started recruiting trainers?
Correct. Yeah, that's right.
Yeah. And your model, tell us a bit about it. Was it mostly one-on-ones? Was there much group happening back then? What were you mostly, how did you make the money?
Yeah, so I had, like I said, between 2001, 2004, I was doing some outdoor work. So I had some groups running. I had some PT already. So I was doing a lot. The groups, I just converted and brought them into that space that I had in that hall space. So we were running about 20 classes, 25 classes a week, as well as, personal training. That was our bread and butter, the PT. And the massage therapist over the years, we bring in more revenue streams. Yeah, so it started at PT though mainly, and small group.
So the group sounded like it was quite a decent portion of it as well, and complemented the PT, I'm guessing.
Yeah, mate. A lot of the way we could cross-pollinate that, and have multiple tiers of income as well. So, you could always grab those people who weren't quite ready to spend the money on personal training. You just put them in a group, get them started, get them to know, like, and trust us, and away we went.
And where did you grow it to in terms of like team members, trainers, and so forth?
Yeah, wow. We had at its peak, Fitness Revelation had 9 staff, and we were doing about 200 sessions a week PT, on top of the 25 group sessions, everyone was full. Everyone was busy, and we made really good use of that space. A lot of people say, well, how did you get 9 trainers in 70 square meters of space? But remembering that we had those 3 areas, we could move those people around, move those trainers around, and the clients around too.
I hear all that, and I still believe it comes back to resourcefulness. And whereas other people will see that and go, yeah, how could you possibly have these 9 trainers, and hey, everyone's booked at 6 a.m. on a Tuesday and all the rest of it. I'm sure you guys just made it work, right? You're going, all right, cool. Well, I've got such and such client. I'll take them outside today, and you just made it work, did you?
Yeah, well, and like I said, when I was there, hands on all the time, which I love that time. When I was there and running PTs as well with the team, I always said that we always worked alongside each other. There was no hierarchy. It was we're a great team unit, and we had that relationship and that communication. And obviously we had a diary where we said, all right, these 2 trainers are in this space, these 2 are there, these are there, and no one complained. Everyone was great. If there was a reason we had to switch around, we just talk to each other about it, and we just do it. We get it done.
It reminds me of the experience I had, whereas I was slightly different to you. I operated from a commercial gym, and I ran my team of trainers underneath the roof of a commercial gym, paid a rental fee for myself and the rest of the team to be there. That gym was about 300 square meters, so it wasn't huge in terms of commercial gym size. That gym had about 1,000 members. And, we just, like, you couldn't actually go in there with a game plan. Like, if you wanted to use a squat rack or you wanted to do a certain sequence of exercises, well, you just had to be completely flexible because there's a good chance it might have been in use. So we'd have someone on the lat pull down, personal trainer and client, and then we'd have personal trainer and client next to them doing some other exercise, and people would be swapping over in between exercises. And again, there was just, you found a way to make it work inside a small space.
And that's part of it, isn't it? You know, that's part of having a great team who can improvise, you know, who are mature enough to figure it out and mature enough, experienced enough, sorry is the word, experienced enough to work it out too. So our policy was always, you know, we'd hire really great trainers from the start who could just come in and service our demographics straight away without having too much training.
And that leads us, I guess, to the next part for your team. So part of your strategy was to go, okay, I've got these great people, and you've had people that have been with you for a long time. So if you can tell us about that. But secondly, you've also created opportunities for them to become part of the business as well. So can you unpack a few of those strategies?
Yeah. So we've, at this point right now, actually, I've still got 3 staff who have been with me for 17 plus years.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's, you know, they started very early in the day with me, obviously, the first 3 years, and have stayed on for various reasons. You know, we're a great team. We're a family. You know, we love working together, but we also, you know, love, you know, socializing too. And, you know, it's fantastic. So, there's various reasons why they've stayed, but a couple, like you just touched on, you know, one of them, Tim, I wanted to help him with his career and move forward as well. And to grow into his space. So I offered for him to buy out his clients about 4 years ago, I think. And he's done that. He bought his clients off me, off the business. And now he runs his own business. So they're his clients now under the roof of Fitness Revelation.
And so the concept there is selling a portion of the business, but ultimately still keeping that community there, still keeping the right people in place, which it becomes a win-win.
Yeah, that's right. And that's what was important to me too, you know, to keep the clients happy, to keep them coming to the space, but also to give Tim that opportunity to increase his revenue, increase his opportunities as well in the future. And he's done a great job there. And what happens now is he pays us rent, you know, in that rental system, that rental concept.
So once again, it sort of just complements the whole strategy in terms of going, how do we keep really great people, but also find opportunities where there's that future that we can still have together.
Yeah, exactly.
He's not the only one. You've also had others who have bought in as well.
Yeah, so Lorenzo 3 years ago bought in as my business partner. And so he bought a portion of the business, and now he and I both own Fitness Revelation. It was at that point where 2019 he was going to buy all of it, and I was going to walk away and do my thing and continue with some other opportunities, and then COVID hit, and I jumped back in. So
yeah. What a fun time to be alive, hey, back then.
Nightmare. I don't want to talk about it, but anyway, it's these things happen, and you just roll with it, and other things pop out of it too.
Yeah, it's great. And I guess for you, leading into your 20th anniversary, big celebration. So you tell us, what does it feel like to actually run such a successful facility, these team members, all the clients? Explain a bit about it.
Yeah, it feels like a dream, man. It's like, when you talk about 20 years, that's a significant time. That's almost half my life. And it's quite surreal. But I'm really, really proud of it. I'm so proud of what I've created early on, and then what the team continued on with, and what it looks like as well. So it's a very proud moment.
That's cool, man. Great story. Now, around about 9 years ago in 2014, I received a message from a fella, i.e. yourself, out of the blue. You said, hey, I've checked you guys out, yourself and Jace, what you guys are doing. I like the look of it. And I'd love to chat to you about are there any opportunities inside? At the time, we were called Create PT Wealth. And so we got chatting, myself and you, shared some back and forth, and those chats continued. And ultimately what it led to 8 years ago was you becoming a coach here at Trainer HQ, Create PT Wealth at the time, moved into Trainer HQ. So, mate, tell us about that journey. And I guess for you would have been, a good 10 years into the studio and into the industry. So what was a turning point to want to move to that next level? Yeah,
mate. Look, that was a really, really great time for me. It's 2014, like you said, 10 years at my studio. I ticked all the boxes as far as I'm concerned in that space. The studio was humming. It was turning over a lot of decent money. I was freeing myself up. I had time. and I wanted to use that time to give back to the industry. And that was the big thing for me. Like, I'd done so much with building a team of 9 trainers by then. They were going great. I knew I could help others, and I wanted to help it on a bigger scale. And that's when I found you guys. And I haven't looked back.
And man, 8 years into it, like I opened with the show with you've won our Master Coach of the Year twice. Over this journey, you've coached so many people. There must be a couple of highlights and a couple of things for you. You look back on, and I'm sure there's many of them, and people you've met and so forth. But could you share 1 or 2 things with us on that journey?
Yeah, mate. That's, like you said, so many highlights. I guess what I really love is the opportunity to help people, and from such different situations. I specifically work now with facility owners, but I've coached people in all different situations over the years, and it's great to be able to find opportunities within different situations. I guess even from the person, the PT on the gym floor who's looking just to increase their PT sessions, to the people that want to go from PT to studio owner, and then from the established studio owner who wants to plug holes in their business bucket and sort of find other ways of just cleaning it up. So I'm so proud though of all my clients and what they've done. And the journey they've been on. There's one probably that jumps out is Carlson, as the other master coach here now at Trainer HQ.
Shout out to big Mr. Carlson Hizen.
Yeah. He and I are working together as a client coach for a long time. It still are, like, in some capacity now. And he's just done so well. From that guy who switched industries altogether. From hospitality, through to the fitness industry, and then worked his way
70-hour weeks he was doing there, and making $300 a week in his fitness business at the start.
That's it. And he came to me, like you guys set us up, and he came to me really green, and I was just so impressed. And there are other stories like that, but he jumps to mind straight away. He's doing great.
Yeah, and in terms of what he's now built down in Willen Gong, his boutique facility is immaculate, every part of it, and it's growing all the time. Yeah. He's got so many different parts, so many different income buckets and streams, and through his journey with us has now moved into Master Coach as well, so he's in that position to help and assist others. So it's great to, again, you must look at that, because it goes all the way through. You've been developing him all these years that you guys have worked together, and then getting him to the point of now where he's become one of our head coaches, which is fantastic.
Mate, I'm so proud of that. And that's what I said to him when he won Master Coach of the Year last year. Yep. And I was just so immensely proud, even more so than when I won it. It was just that journey, like you said. Yeah,
that felt like a chalk win to Team Ben, didn't it? That was.
It did, actually.
Yeah, you've claimed that one, haven't you?
Yeah, I have. Of course.
Now, you, as discussed, you specialise in studios, gyms, and so forth. So, what do you see as some of the most common mistakes that people do or don't do as they're getting into wanting to have their own facility?
Mate, I think it's pretty simple, really. It's people overthink it. They overthink it, and then they cause such a. I guess they get inside their own head, and they just they don't start it. They don't go to that point where, just start is my advice. Just get into it. Just get your hands dirty. Do the hours. It's going to be hard. A lot of people just think they can start a facility and then they're a studio owner and it's going to be easy. It's not easy. It's going to be bloody hard. And, you just got to get your hands dirty and get into it. And the other one is a lot of people think they need to overcapitalize. They need to put in too much money at the start. Well, you actually don't. From my experience, of course, start small, take it all. Just get into the bare bones of it and then build it from there.
And within that, obviously you've seen all people come in all different, looking to get into a facility in different sizes. Some big, some small, I guess exist. And then I guess, like you said, crunching the numbers.
Yeah, and be prepared. Just what is it? The 5 Ps. Proper preparation prevents poor performance. So I'm a big fan of that acronym. I'm a big fan of systems, like I said before, that, and just crunching numbers and make sure you're ready, and just get all your ducks lined up before you get into it, because it is a ride. It can be scary, but if you've got the preparation and the right people behind you, like Trainer HQ here, you're well on your way. You're well ahead to the average Joe.
And in terms of plays that you've seen people do which have worked, become profitable? What are some things that you've seen, you've assisted people with, that you've seen have been a winner even today in 2023?
So many. Mate, you're throwing them at me today. No prep, by the way, on this one. There's so many opportunities. I think way more than when we went through, probably through the industry as young guys. There's the online stuff now. There's which wasn't even around. Did we have the internet, big fella?
We didn't.
there was none of that. So there's so many opportunities in that space, and so many, I call them profit centers. So many opportunities for high profit, high growth, where you're not just swapping time for money anymore. So that's probably the biggest thing I'm noticing. And I call them multiple streams of fitness income. Create as many of those as you can. So anywhere, like we've done in our studio, for massage, exercise physiologists, you've got your group, we've got our seminars, we've got online as well, you've got your PT. So there's 5 or 6 there that I've just rattled off, but with any facility that can be your home base, as we did as well. We started a corporate health company off the back of our HQ, our home base there with a studio. So yeah, mate, there's just so many things that can be generated now.
It's an interesting point you make about the corporate health side of things, because it's a space we went down as well in my PT business, and what I found was it was quite easy, for want of a better word, to actually move the business and direct it more to a corporate health space. So can you elaborate a bit on what you've done in that area?
Yeah. So in 2008, I was looking for growth, obviously, in the studio, and looking for something else to do. You can get bored, you can get a bit stale. So I was looking for a new opportunity, and we have very, very fortunate enough, the way I set it up, we attracted a lot of corporates, CEOs, CFOs, all those guys, lawyers, doctors, into our space. So I took advantage of that. I noticed that, and I just reached out to my database and said, look, we've created this new opportunity for you guys. We can come to your work and blah, blah. And we turned that business over 4 years into a 6-figure business, on top of our studio, multiple 6-figure business. And for, way less work. We're just doing lunchtimes, seminars. We occasionally send people out to do classes. We did, massages at their workplace. But yeah, just look at your database. That's what you got to see, and create opportunities from there.
I think the essential thing I hear about that is your list, right? So it's something we hammered down people's throats, and we go, all right, you need to build a database. You need to collect names, emails, phone numbers. You need to build out your ecosystem. So once you have a database, you nurture these people. They hear from you. There's some constant communication going on, because when it is time to ask for something, then they're going to be the best person to speak with.
Yeah, absolutely. And they're your biggest fans as well. They want to help you. As I always say to my coaching clients now, your database, those clients that you're working with, they want to see you succeed because they're invested in you. So once an opportunity comes up where A, they can benefit, but B, you can as well, they'll jump in.
My guess is you've had some clients for a long time at the studio. Do you want to elaborate on that? Some of those people on your database?
Yeah, mate. We've had... So this just at a glance last month or the month before, I looked at, we've still got 5 or 6 people who started with me 20 years ago. Multiple, we celebrate every 5 years, our clients 10, 15 years, 20 years now, next year. And, we've, I think at 15 years, we still had 20 or 25 people with us. And they're just stayers. We've got the best retention rate in the area at 92% retention. And compare that to any other studio, you won't even compare it. That's... it's right up there, and it's been up there for many, many years. That's
huge, man. Yeah, people 20 years, so that'll be massively celebrated, no doubt.
Oh, 100%. Yeah, we're going to have a bit of a party.
All right, man. So tell us a bit about the future of Fitness Revelation. Where are we going? What's the future look like?
Oh, mate, look, I go back and forth with this often, actually. So we'll see. Look, 20 years is a great milestone for me and for the company. I think it's ticking along. Let's just say it's happy. I'm happy. We'll just see where the future goes, but it's got a good future if that's the way it wants to continue.
The observation from the outside looking in is you got this great place. It's situated in a community space. It's got good people around it. it's like a winning model, isn't it? You know?
Yeah, it really is. And when I consider selling it again, or when I consider stepping back and not being involved in it, I get a bit sad because it is that, you know, it is, first of all, it was my first baby. I've got 3 kids, but it was, it came around before them. But also, like you said, it's the community. You know, I just love being around that space, and it's got good vibes, and yeah, it services a lot of people.
Yeah. So awesome, man. And then over to your other family with us over here at Trainer HQ. I mean, just watching you in action, the what you do and the way you assist other people, it just is amazing to watch it in action, and for you to share all these years of wisdom, knowledge, all the great people you've been around, and then being able to unpack that and then watch the success in others. So, mate, it's been bloody spectacular.
Thanks, mate. I love this space. You know that. You guys are my family, and I love being around and helping and assisting. And you gave me that opportunity, so many years ago. And I'm not going anywhere. Don't worry. I love it. You can't get rid of me.
Oh, you're not allowed, brother. So it's like the firm. Once you're in, there's no getting out.
I'm part of the furniture. Don't worry.
Ladies and gentlemen, Mr. Ben Dulhunty, he's a living legend in the Australian PT industry. And once again, brother, just want to say thank you for sharing and unpacking your story, my man.
Thanks, mate. I appreciate you having me on, and looking forward to more.
Yeah.